From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is AgDay.
Taking agriculture to a whole new level.
How do we grow food in space?
See research that's out of this world. How do you know if you have healthy soil?
So it should be crumbly like chocolate cake.
A checkup as we help you flip your soil. As an old issue returns, low water levels along the mighty Mississippi.
Those costs are not passed on to the customer.
The impact that's having on grain prices right now on AgDay.
AgDay is brought to you by Pioneer.
Ben's bins, please hold.
Yeah, Ben's has been busy all day.
Seems like no one can keep up with this new Z series. What did you all put in these seeds?
Science.
Good morning, I'm Clinton Griffiths. Happening right now, low water levels on the Mississippi River are impacting barge movement. And the situation is only expected to get worse. Now take a look at this chart. It shows the river level in Memphis as of Friday. The gauge reading at more than -5 feet. AgDay's Michelle Rook joins me. Michelle, we thought we would avoid this problem this year.
Despite some heavy rainfall early in the season in some parts of the upper Mississippi Basin, for the third straight year, the lower Mississippi River is seeing some drastic extreme low water conditions. And it's coming at the worst time possible as farmers are already starting to harvest one of the largest corn and soybean crops in history. The U.S. Drought Center says portions of the Ohio River Basin, a major feeder for the lower part of the Mississippi River, received only 25 to 75% of normal precip since June 11th. As a result, the gauge at Memphis dropped to the low water threshold of -5 feet on August 30th, and levels continue to fall.
If you look at Memphis, Tennessee, we're basically at the same point this year, actually slightly lower than we were on this same date in 2023. And that's really concerning because 2023 was a historically low water event.
The biggest problems are materializing farther south, from Cairo, Illinois to the Gulf, and that's causing barges to reduce their draft to meet the U.S. Coast Guard's 9-foot draft requirement.
So you're having to limit the number of barges you can attach together. And you're seeing currently about a 15% decrease overall in the fewer amount of tonnage that a barge tow is able to accommodate.
Barge drafts reduced from the normal 12 down to 9 feet, haul 20,000 fewer bushels of soybeans, which cost shippers and pushes up barge freight rates.
So we're anywhere from 5, 6, 9% higher, depending on the origination point on the river, barge freight rates than we were at the same period last year. And we're considerably higher than the 3-year average.
Steenhoek says that inefficiency will take away the U.S.'s edge against exporters like Brazil at a time when the soybean export window is usually the greatest.
With higher barge freight rates, higher transportation costs, our minds should immediately turn to it has a negative impact on our competitiveness.
And it's having a negative impact on basis levels and cash grain prices.
Those costs are not passed on to the customer. They're not absorbed by the shipper. They're passed on to the farmer in the form of a more negative or a wider basis.
He says it will likely only get worse as farmers get deeper into harvesting one of the largest corn and soybean crops in history. I'm Michelle Rook reporting for AgDay.
Meteorologist Matt Engelbrecht lets us know if those areas of concern along the Mississippi River will see any rain anytime soon.
Yeah, we're going to stick with the temperature outlook for an extended period of time. Now, remember, yesterday and the day before, we were talking about, through the weekend and last week, about a ridge of high pressure building in and across the United States. That's what we're seeing on the map. So again, the temperature outlook, the 13th through the 19th, you got a ridge of high pressure not only over the Midwest, but confidence is growing in above normal temperatures for nearly 2/3 of the United States. Not a lot of blue on this map. Where you find the blue is going to be where our trough, our next storm system, is trying to develop. And that's going to be on the west coast, back up into the northwest, as well as down here to the south and to the southwest. Otherwise, bank on above average temperatures nearly across the United States. This is also going to come with quiet weather conditions as well. And a busy time of year for John of West Central Illinois. John says he's harvesting his 60th crop. And he also says he's working with very nice machines and technology compared to, yeah, I'd say so, 60 years ago. And he also says he still loves the farm. Great to hear, John. I'll have more on your forecast coming up.
The Biden administration is announcing a $7 billion investment in rural clean energy projects in 23 states. President Biden traveling to Westby, Wisconsin to make the announcement last week. The idea, bring clean energy and lower costs to about 5 million rural households, as well as farms and businesses in those 23 states. Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack says designated rural electric co-ops will be using USDA loans and grants to build new, more resilient power generating systems.
Rural entrepreneurs and manufacturers who are so fundamental to our economy are powered with reliable, affordable energy, and they can create more job opportunities in their communities. And guess what? It's also good for the environment as well.
Now, the money will fund new projects, such as restarting a nuclear power plant in southwestern Michigan, along with retiring coal-fired plants and funding solar, wind, and battery storage projects in other states. Happening later this week, the House is preparing to vote on a measure aimed at restricting foreign ownership of U.S. ag lands. Republican Representative Dan Newhouse introducing the Protecting American Agriculture from Foreign Adversaries Act. The bill would add the Secretary of Ag as a member of the Committee on Foreign Investment in the U.S., and it would require the Ag Secretary to report to that committee any purchases of U.S. agricultural land by foreign adversaries that may pose a national risk. As of 2021, foreign investment in U.S. ag land totaled approximately 40 million acres, a 40% increase since 2016. Now, Canada owns the largest share at 32%. China's ownership was 0.9%.
Flip Your Soil on Ag Day is brought to you by ESN. Hear why farmers across the country trust ESN to protect their nitrogen investment and maximize yield. Learn more at smartnitrogen.com.
Sustainability is a big buzzword in agriculture right now, and for farmers and ranchers, flipping your soil to something healthier is a big piece of that puzzle. But how do you know if you have healthy soil? Well, soil scientists say healthy soil just looks different. Farmers that are using soil health principles such as not tilling the ground, keeping it covered with cover crops, and using diverse rotations should be able to visually see the changes.
A healthy soil, when you dig a hole and look at healthy soil, you want to look for a couple things. One of them is good soil structure, right? So it should be crumbly like chocolate cake. It should have a dark, rich color. And if you smell the soil, a good earthy smell, which is an indication of healthy microbe populations. And then we don't want any platy soil structure, which would be a sign of compaction.
And conservation practices help farmers build soil organic matter to promote higher yields while still protecting the environment.
And as we add carbon to our soil, they become more productive, but also it's a win for everybody because we're sequestering carbon out of the atmosphere.
USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service has various conservation and climate-smart ag programs that can help provide technical assistance for farmers wanting to build healthier soil. Tomorrow, we'll look at the role microbes play in soil health. Commodities ending the week in the red on Friday, including a double-digit drop in soybeans. We'll talk markets next. And later, taking ag out of this world, see the latest research that's looking ahead to growing food other than on Earth in the country. Cargill says it's acquiring 2 feed mills from Compania Pet brands. The mills are located in Denver, Colorado, and in Kansas City, Kansas. The company says it's looking to grow with the ag retail and large ranching farming segments in the western and central regions. It says the Denver mill serves backyard hobby farmers and pet owners. The Kansas City mill enables the company to continue to be a key supplier in the area. Now, the deal was finalized last week, but the terms were not disclosed. Soybeans trending lower again on Friday. What could prop them back up this week? Michelle Rook is back with Markets Now.
A down day on Friday in the grains. Ag Trader Talks Garrett Toy is back with analysis. And let's talk a little bit about the sell-off on Friday. We've had a good rally, obviously, in the grains. So was it just profit taking? Did we hit some chart resistance?
You know, we had a 30-cent rally in corn off the lows. We've had nearly a 70-cent rally in soybeans. You know, we had kind of expected some sort of bottom around first nose day for the September contract for the seasonality of things. But I do think that the rally may have run its course near term, especially ahead of this crop production report this week. That market may turn a little bit more choppy. But, to have a 30-cent rally in corn, 70-cent in bean type, this type of move ahead of harvest is kind of a gift, in my opinion. It shows us how oversold we were and how down in the dumps we were. It may give an opportunity for producers who have something to move at harvest that can't store it to make some sales here real quick.
Yeah. So with the big sell-off on Friday, I'm sure you're going to have farmers that say, oh, man, is the rally over? What's your thoughts?
I don't think so. I think it may be over for now. Like I said, I'm 75%, confident that we've probably put in our lows. Can we have a setback? Absolutely. Do we push into new highs between now and October 15th? Probably not. I think you're probably looking at a more choppy market over the next 30 to 45 days. When do we want to rally again? Harvest is 50% complete would be a perfect time. But right now it's probably going to turn a little bit more choppy and see what the USDA says as far as what they think the crop size is.
Yeah. So you say we've maybe already traded the biggest crop. What is your sense about how slow USDA may be, though, in pulling yields down, if at all, here in the September WASDE coming up?
The amount of adjustments lower that I envision are minimal. It's just that, and probably at the end of the day, the fact that we took a little bit off the top end of the crop is probably a good thing because this crop could have been a big problem from a production side, just massive crops if the trend had continued.
All right, thanks for joining us. Garrett Try, Ag Trader. Talk a little more AgDay coming up.
Watch Markets Now with Michelle Rourke on the Farm Journal YouTube channel, keeping you updated throughout the day on the markets at the open, midday, and close. Find out what moved the markets today and what to expect the market to do next.
So as we were talking about just a little bit ago, it's all about that ridge of high pressure, something that we were mentioning last week going into this week. And as we know, this time of year, typically it's more about the cold fronts sweeping through, big swings in our temperatures. Now we had this past weekend. This week, it's going to be more of a summertime pattern where you see that red, you see these lines pushing back up here to the north. That's our ridge, and is not only going to be a dominant feature in our forecast going forward, but there's really not much that's going to break it down and kick it out into the Atlantic. We're going to try. Now over here to the top left corner of your screen, the little U, that is a trough. This is going to dig down to the south and bring with it those cooler temperatures that we're talking about in that extended period of time. As we've discussed before, though, in a summertime pattern like this, the energy from this low, this trough, isn't going to kick around that high or this ridge. That energy is going to go up and over. It's a classic blocking pattern. So why I say this is the conditions we have on Wednesday in your neck of the woods, that is going to stick around Thursday, Friday, and even into Saturday. I put this into motion, and you can see there's not much movement in this ridge. In fact, it actually intensifies. It becomes what's called a high amplitude ridge, where the white line gets way up here into Canada. That is going to suppress the atmosphere, meaning in terms of rainfall is going to be on the low end, and then of course the above average high temperatures, good chance, good likelihood of that for an extended period of time. Again, this is Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That pattern is still in play. You got this trough that is going to be pretty shallow as it works to the east, go up and over the ridge. So you can actually extend this out into next weekend as well. We'll start off with West Haven, Connecticut, 77 degrees low, about 59 degrees. Great Falls, Montana. Whoever picked that, great job. Partly cloudy, high around 90 degrees, low of 56. Chattanooga, Tennessee, sunny, high of 86 degrees.
Machinery Pete is looking back at a very busy summer in the used equipment market. And later, while researchers in Nebraska are looking to the future and growing things out of this world.
Machinery Pete on Ag Day is brought to you by Firestone Ag. Firestone Ag now offers Bridgestone tractor tires, the ultimate lineup of tires engineered to deliver enhanced wear life, durability, and ride comfort on the road. To learn more, talk to your local certified Firestone Ag dealer.
Well, it was a wild summer for the used equipment market. Machinery Pete has a look back and forward.
All right, folks, summer 2024, it's in the books. Time for my short and sweet machine repeat used market update here coming out of the summer. Now, of course, not surprisingly, we saw deterioration with auction pricing and used values on large late model equipment through the summer. Now let's take a combine example, a John Deere X9 1100. Now, if you would have talked to me at the end of June, I would have told you that the average auction price at that time was running $509,700. Now, since July 1st, a little different. It's down 10.1%. Average auction price since July 1st, $458,472. Now, another way of looking at this is something I call our machine repeat ratio, which very simple. It's the average auction price divided by the average dealer ad price on any piece of equipment. And what I found, I've been tracking this 25 years, and the normal range is 71 to 76%. So in other words, you get above that, the market's hot. You go below that, the market's getting softer. Now on a John Deere X9 1100, the machine repeat ratio through June this year was at 67.9%, but since July 1st, it's dropped to 64.1%. Now on the flip side, smaller equipment, focused more on the livestock areas, of course, doing much, much better. Used values holding stronger. So good used hay equipment's doing well. Loader tractors very strong. For example, on a farm auction September 4th in Chester, West Virginia by my good friends at Kiko Auctioneers, this 2013 Case H Farmall 75C with an L620 loader, 1,306 hours, one owner, sharp rig, went for $35,500. Now that's the fourth highest auction price ever on a Farmall 75C with a loader with over 1,200 hours.
All right, thanks, Pete. Up next, preparing for a world of space travel where people still have to eat. A team of University of Nebraska researchers has a goal to launch the first center for agriculture in space. Now the premise, whether it's Mars or the moon, if people will be there, they'll have to eat. And as Farm Journal's Tyne Morgan shows us, the researchers are exploring ag in a way that's out of this world.
A far-out idea with one burning question at its core.
So one of the things we are looking at is how do we grow food in space?
This team's goal, to grow the first acre of corn on Mars's soil. It may seem like it's worlds away, but for the work in this lab, it could revolutionize the future of agriculture. Santosh Pitla has already cracked the ag engineering code on creating autonomous vehicles that can serve multiple purposes, just like he did with this, Flex Row.
When I say multi-purpose, our goal was to do planting and then spraying, nitrogen application, and then we are looking at targeted weeding as well.
But it's those creations that could level up what they're trying to accomplish in space, revealing answers on Earth that will then be transplanted in space.
On Earth, yes, we understand irrigation, but in the space when there is zero gravity, so how does irrigation work?
What started 5 years ago with Flex Row is just starting to scratch the surface on what may be possible.
In space, the environment is toxic, so it takes a lot of effort for a person to go out and scout for resources. We can send these robots out, like NASA have many rovers, right? Specifically aimed at, looking for water and looking for other things. But what we can be looking at is what sort of resources can we reclaim to support agriculture.
One of the ways to unlock answers is with this, a small-scale version of a greenhouse that could be used to grow food in space.
For having some agriculture in extreme environment or airspace, we need to provide an environment for plants so that they can grow in that condition. We have to provide that condition for them.
So the team decided a controlled environment with indoor agriculture makes the most sense, with sensors that can monitor the plant's needs and manage those resources.
When there is no light for example, on the surface of Moon or Mars, it is dark, we can provide the light with LED. And with photo resistor, we can monitor the light.
Exploring what's possible with leafy plants, agriculture in space may be closer than you think.
I believe someday we can have some perfect platform for putting in the surface on Moon and Mars to provide food for crew members without making them busy, so they can focus on their own task and we will provide food for them.
One small step for researchers here that could truly be a giant leap for mankind. It's these tools that could create a new galaxy of possibilities.
All right, thanks, Tyne, and that's all the time we have this morning. From all of us here at AgDay, I'm Clinton Griffiths. Have a great day on Farm Country.